peppermint, gingerbread, and cinnamon all can remind us of the holiday season, but it's not just foods that are catered to this time of year. Seasonal beers come with certain winter flavors as well.
Yes, and much like fine wines, these beers taste best when they're paired with certain foods. And joining us this morning to talk about recipes that go excellently with these excellent beers, we have a chef, Mr. Jim Pearce, or Chef Jim Pearce. He's from Royal Oaks Holiday Market, and from Powers Distributing Company, Runstead.
Yes.
Good morning, gentlemen. What makes beers pair well with foods? What's the trick?
Well, just like wines go great with foods, and you can digest better with certain foods and all that kind of stuff, foods go great with beer, obviously, too. And we paired, we got some heavier beers here, so we went with a little more rustic and heavier dishes that we've come up with. Today, I'm doing this pork tenderloin dish. We're gonna eventually glaze it with a little bit of this sauce. It's a cranberry demi-glace sauce.
Okay. I was gonna say, it almost looks like chili.
It is kind of a chunkier delicious sauce and everything like that. We've also got a barley risotto that we made and some roasted root vegetables to go along with it also.
Okay, now are you going to be putting any of the beer in this to cook with it, or is it just about pairing what tastes good with this type of a dish?
Exactly. Okay. I didn't cook in the sauce or anything this time. So
now, what are the most popular beers and brews this time of year with the holiday season?
This time of year, as you're coming into the colder months, typically maybe with football, you may enjoy a beer like Miller Lite that's nice and refreshing, but when it comes to food pairing with these more intense and complex flavors, you want a more intense, complex beer. Okay. And we've got several winter beers here from Line & Kugel Brewing Company. We've got their cranberry ginger shandy.
Ooh. Cranberry ginger, I mean, it sounds good.
Is our boss watching? Can we crack any of these? I mean,
should we do a little taste test, Malcolm?
I think so.
We've got Sam Adams Winter Lager, one of the most popular winter beers.
Yep.
We also have a local beer from Griffin Claw Brewing Company in Birmingham with their Three Scrooges. We've got Saugatuck Neapolitan Milk Stout, which has all the flavors you would expect with strawberry, vanilla, and chocolate all in the beer.
That's like a dessert beer.
And then a new beer to Michigan this year, Alaskan Brewing Company. We have their amber here. Although it's not a seasonal, also has some of that complexity and caramel notes that would also pair well with some winter dishes.
Now, as you're mentioning caramel notes, what exactly separates a winter beer from a summer beer? Because they all go down so well with me, but what separates the flavors that makes one a winter beer?
Typically, your winter beers are going to be a little maltier, a little sweeter, a little bit more full-bodied, not designed as a thirst quencher, but more as a winter warmer. Some of them have higher alcohol, so as you drink them, you can feel a little warming effect, hence the term winter warmer. And then spices have traditionally been something that you can do with winter beers, and that brings in like the cinnamon and the nutmeg and the ginger and those flavors that add to that complexity.
Now, Jim, how's it going over here? We're doing
it's
good.
Good.
It looks good.
It's smelling great.
So,
what beer are you going to pair with this? What would you recommend?
I would recommend the Three Scrooges.
The Three Scrooges? That was the Griffin Claw, correct?
Exactly. Okay. So the caramel notes in that are going to go along with the caramelization of I used orange juice in the sauce and everything too. So all that stuff is going to go really well together.
And what other types of foods can you pair with some of these winter brews?
I would use anything that's going to be on the heavier side, whether it's beef or lamb. Those kinds of things are great this time of year. And then along with these beers.
What about with a nice cup of chili? What would you recommend? Everybody's warming up with chili this time of year. You were talking about the football games.
Yeah. And would you think like a lighter beer?
I wonder.
No, I'd like something with some roasted caramelized flavors, and Alaskan Amber might be perfect to go right along with the chili.
Now, I did want to get in, Ron, what exactly do you do? Because we discussed this before the segment. What exactly do you do at Powers Distributing?
Well, I passed the certified Cicerone test a few years back, and that just shows that I've passed a level of certification for beer knowledge. And I do a lot of education for our staff at Powers and also for our retailers as well.
So by a lot of education, you mean you drink a lot of beers?
I've
all
done
day
that
long.
too.
You've got a good gig. All right, well, thank you, Jim, Ron, for being here with us today. We appreciate it. Hopefully, our audience at home has gotten some good ideas and tips on how to pair their meals.
And we do have the recipe for this tenderloin on our website, and I'll give you a full report on how well it tastes coming up after the break.